Growing up, I always thought my family was just like any other. My name is Clara, and I come from the central province of Papua New Guinea. My mother raised my brother Michael and me on her own. We never saw our father, but as children we didn't question it. It wasn't until we grew older and started understanding how families worked that we realized something wasn't quite right. What I discovered one day shattered my world and left me questioning everything. My mother was always very close to her father, our grandfather. At first, I thought it was just a normal bond between a father and daughter, the kind of closeness I'd seen in other families. My brother and I were also my grandfather's favorites, more than any of our cousins. I didn't think much of it at the time, but looking back, the signs were there. As I got older, I started to notice things that didn't add up. My grandfather was always around our mother, and the way they interacted sometimes felt different, but I brushed it off, thinking I was imagining things. That is, until one evening when I discovered the truth. Most of the family had gone to Port Moresby for work and school, leaving my mother and grandfather alone in the house. I was supposed to leave too, but something told me to stay behind. I snuck back into the house quietly, thinking I'd surprise them. But as I approached my grandparents' room, I heard voices. Soft, intimate voices. They weren't the kind of words you'd expect to hear between a father and daughter. I froze, unable to move as I tried to process what I was hearing. My heart raced as I pushed the door open. There they were, my mother and grandfather, startled and embarrassed to see me. I stood frozen in shock, unable to comprehend what was happening. My mother, with tears in her eyes, asked me to calm down, but I couldn't. I was shaking, trying to understand the impossible. My grandfather, a strong and stubborn man, stood up and pulled me aside. What he said next changed everything. He told me that he wasn't just my grandfather, he was my biological father. Not just mine, but also Michael's. He said they had been planning to tell us soon, but now I had discovered the truth on my own. In that moment, my whole world crumbled. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My mother stayed silent as my grandfather did all the talking. They sent me to my room, but I couldn't stop crying. I felt like the walls around me were closing in. The next 3 months, I kept this secret to myself, waiting for Michael to return from school. Those were the hardest days of my life. I felt broken, lost, and betrayed. I couldn't look at my mother or grandfather the same way. To cope, I started spending more time with my friends, but the weight of the secret never left me. When Michael finally came back, I couldn't hold it in any longer. I sat him down and told him everything. He was so shocked, he nearly fainted. We didn't know how to process it. No one else in the family knew, not even our grandmother. Michael and I decided we couldn't stay in the village any longer. We harvested everything we'd grown and left for the city, where we stayed with our mother's younger sister. She was kind and supportive, but when we told her the truth, she was furious. She confronted our grandfather, who admitted everything. Word spread quickly, and soon the entire family knew. The revelations caused an uproar. Our mother finally spoke up, saying she had been forced into the relationship by her father, who threatened to kill her if she ever told anyone. She had kept the secret for 15 years. The family was devastated. Our grandmother, who had been unaware of everything, became sick and never recovered. She passed away not long after. The truth came out. My mother left the village and married someone her own age. My grandfather remarried as well, but for me and Michael, the damage was already done. The trauma of those years still haunts us. We've tried to move on, but it's not easy to forget. I share this story not for pity, but as a reminder of how deeply family secrets can hurt. My brother and I are doing our best to heal, but the scars remain. For anyone listening, be kind to yourself and don't let the pain of the past define your future. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever experienced something similar, know that you're not alone. Healing takes time, but it's possible. Please like, comment, and share your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you.